Aye, sir.
May we please take our seats? Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I will not be exaggerating if I told you that this occasion has several high points. One of such reckonable moments is the inspection of the parade by the reviewing officer. The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, has now commenced inspection of the parade.
Kindly permit me to inform you that this parade is composed of 2 guards and a band. Each guard has 3 officers and 48 ratings. In total, there are 105 personnel on parade. The parade is commanded by Commander M.B. Ibrahim. The number 1 guard officer is Lieutenant M.M. Ona, while the 2nd guard is commanded by Lieutenant U.B. Usman. The sub-guard commanders for number 1 guard are Sub-Lieutenant D.O. Eremosele and Sub-Lieutenant O.P. Ogeni. For the number 2 guard, we have Sub-Lieutenants T.T. Enze and E.O. Edet. The band officer for today is Lieutenant Commander O. Olaya, and he is assisted by Lieutenant Commander E.F. Kalu. The ensigns to the national and regimental colors are Lieutenants S.S. Samuel and S.A. Sani.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, having completed the inspection of the parade and granted the parade commander permission to march up the parade, the reviewing officer will now be graciously ushered to his seat at the presidential pavilion by the Chief of the Naval Staff while the parade is marching off. I humbly crave your indulgence to please rise in honor of the national regimental colors. As the parade is marching up, I humbly crave the indulgence of our esteemed audience to please rise in honor of the national and regimental colors. Thank you so much. May we please be seated.
The special guest of honor and reviewing officer, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, the Senate President, ably represented by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Navy, the Speaker, House of Representatives, represented by the Chairman, House Committee on Defense, the Executive Governor of Lagos State and other state governors here present, members of the National Assembly, former Chief of General Staff, Commodore Ebitu Ukiiwe, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, the Honorable Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, our host, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Service Chiefs and representative of the Inspector General of Police, heads of foreign navies here present, former Chief of Defense Staff, Admiral O.S. Ibrahim, retired, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, former Chiefs of the Naval Staff and other icons of the Navy, the representative of the National Security Advisor, our royal fathers, senior military officers, both serving and retired, members of the diplomatic corps, heads of paramilitary and security agencies here present, the national presidents of Naval and Air Force Officers' Wives Association, captains of industry, members of Naval Officers' Wives Association, members of Naval Ratings Wives Association, my Lord, spiritual and temporal, distinguished invited guests, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, ladies and gentlemen, I am Captain Tony Bassey, the Master of Ceremonies for the year 2023 Presidential Fleet Review, holding in honor of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic. Today, I shall be assisted by Commander Annabel Okwori, Commander Delightsome Johanna, and Dr. Emmanuel Unwako. We shall also be supported by 2 French language interpreters, Lieutenant Commander Monday Obodo and Sub-Lieutenant Adora Okpaloku. It is indeed my esteemed pleasure to once again, on behalf of the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Zuberu Gambo, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, welcome His Excellency Mr. President and our distinguished invited guests to the Naval Dockyard Limited, Lagos, the venue for this grand occasion. This venue affords us the opportunity to enjoy the calming view of the Atlantic Ocean as we witness the year 2023 Presidential Fleet Review, themed Fleet Readiness for National Prosperity. Before we continue with the rest of the ceremony, permit me to give you a brief rundown of the major activities lined out for today. In a short while, there shall be a brief documentary on the Nigerian Navy fleet. This will set the stage for our amiable host, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Zuberu Gambo, to formally welcome His Excellency and other distinguished invited guests with his address. Thereafter, the reviewing officer, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, will be most respectfully invited to commission 2 ships and a helicopter, as well as commence his review of the international fleet. On completion, His Excellency and all our distinguished invited guests will be entertained by a combat boat display, sail past of ships, and fly past of aircraft. This will then be followed by the unveiling of the National Maritime Strategy before we listen to the presidential address by His Excellency, Mr. President. We shall eventually draw the curtains on this memorable event by taking group photographs at the photo stand. Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, I humbly request you kindly sit back and watch the safety bridge for this venue as will be shown on the screen. The safety brief, please.
The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari,
le Président, Commandant en chef des Forces armées de la République fédérale du Nigeria, Son Excellence le Président Muhammadu Buhari,
Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen,
Grand Commandant de la République fédérale, les invités de marque, Mesdames et Messieurs.
This is a safety brief. Welcome to the Naval Dockyard Limited, Victoria Island Jetty, venue for the Presidential Fleet Review. Ladies and gentlemen, safety is our #1 priority. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please take note of the following important information.
Ceci est un briefing de sécurité. Bienvenue au Naval Dockyard Limited, Victoria Island, à la jetée où se déroule la revue de la flotte présidentielle. Mesdames et messieurs, la sécurité est notre première priorité. Dans le cas improbable d'une urgence, veuillez prendre note des informations importantes suivantes.
This event venue consists of the Presidential Pavilion and 2 marquees, which are directly facing the waterfront. There are 2 conveniences for our distinguished invited guests. The first one is directly behind the marquee on the left side of this venue, while the second one is located behind the automobile workshop directly behind this venue.
Ce lieu se compose du pavillon présidentiel et de 2 chapiteaux qui font directement face au front de mer. 2 commodités sont à la disposition de nos invités de marque. La première se trouve directement derrière le chapiteau, sur le côté gauche du site, tandis que la seconde est située derrière l'atelier automobile, juste derrière ce site.
In case of an emergency, please do not panic. Remain calm and make your way to the nearest exit as quickly and safely as possible. The muster points are directly in front of the conference center by the volleyball court and also behind the conference center building.
En cas d'urgence, ne paniquez pas. Restez calme et dirigez-vous vers la sortie, la plus proche, le plus rapidement et le plus sûrement possible. Les points de rassemblement se trouvent directement devant le centre de conférence, près du terrain de volleyball et derrière le bâtiment du centre de conférence.
Please remember to vacate the pavilion and marquee in case of an emergency. And should you forget any item, please do not go back into the pavilion and marquee. Your safety is our #1 priority.
N'oubliez pas de quitter le pavillon et le chapiteau en cas d'urgence. Et si vous oubliez les objets, ne retournez pas dans le pavillon et le chapiteau. Votre sécurité est notre priorité.
No fire drill or alarm test is scheduled at this time of the day. Should there be a fire alarm, it should be taken as a real emergency.
Aucun exercice ou alarme incendie n'est prévu à cette heure de la journée. Si une alarme incendie se déclenche, il faut considérer qu'il s'agit d'une véritable urgence.
Now, to the guidelines to ensure safety at the jetty. Please stay away from the edges of the jetty. The jetty could be slippery and the water around it extremely deep. Avoid going close to the jetty to prevent accidentally falling overboard.
Voici maintenant les règles à suivre pour assurer la sécurité sur la jetée. Ne vous approchez pas du bord de la jetée. La jetée peut être glissante et l'eau qui l'entoure est extrêmement profonde. Évitez de vous approcher de la jetée pour ne pas tomber accidentellement à l'eau.
Should you have any cause to go towards the edge of the jetty, please put on your life jacket. A life jacket will be handed to you by a safety personnel. Please do not hesitate to call their attention if the need arises. There are adequate rescue boats, divers and lifebuoys stationed all around the length of the jetty to assist you in the case of any emergency.
Si vous avez une raison quelconque de vous approcher des bords de la jetée, veuillez enfiler votre gilet de sauvetage. Un gilet de sauvetage vous sera remis par un membre du personnel de sécurité. N'hésitez pas à les interpeller en cas de besoin. Des bateaux de sauvetage, des plongeurs et des bouées de sauvetage sont stationnés tout au long de la jetée pour vous aider en cas d'urgence.
In the event of a medical emergency, request for an ambulance or use the Naval Dockyard Medical Center a few meters away just beside the main gate of the Naval Dockyard. Thank you for your attention and remain safe always.
En cas d'urgence médicale, demandez une ambulance ou utilisez le centre médical de l'arsenal Naval situé à quelques mètres, jusqu'à côté de la porte principale de l'arsenal Naval. Nous vous remercions de votre attention et restons toujours en sécurité. Merci.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the special guest of honor, distinguished invited guests, still standing on the established protocol, I would like to humbly note that the enormity of this occasion can be seen in the caliber of dignitaries in attendance. As such, in order to accord them a befitting welcome, permit me to most respectfully invite to the podium the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, to give his welcome address. The Chief of the Naval Staff, sir.
Les invités d'honneur, mesdames et messieurs, conformément au protocole déjà établi, je voudrais d'abord noter que l'importance de cette occasion se reflète dans le calibre des dignitaires présents. Aussi, en vue de leur réserver un accueil digne, permettez-moi d'inviter très respectueusement au tribunal le chef d'état-major de la marine nigériane, le vice-admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, commandeur de l'ordre de la République fédérale, pour prononcer son discours de bienvenue. Le chef d'état-major, messieurs.
Thank you. The special guest of honor, His Excellency President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, the Senate President, ably represented by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Navy, Senator George Sakibo, Speaker, House of Representatives, ably represented by Chairman, House Committee on Defense, the Executive Governor of Lagos State and other state governors here present, members of the National Assembly, former Chief of General Staff, Commodore Ebitu Ikiwe, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, Honorable Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs, and representative of Inspector General of Police, heads of foreign navies, former Chief of Defense Staff, Admiral Ola Saad Ibrahim, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, former Chiefs of the Naval Staff, representatives of the National Security Advisor, our Royal Fathers, senior military officers serving and retired, members of the Diplomatic Corps, heads of paramilitary and security agencies, National President, Naval and Air Force Officers' Wives Association, Captains of Industry, members of Naval Officers' Wives Association, members of Naval Ratings Wives Association, distinguished invited guests, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of officers, ratings and civilian staff of the Nigerian Navy, I most sincerely and respectfully welcome our special guest of honor and reviewing officer, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, and other distinguished guests to the Presidential Fleet Review and Commissioning Ceremony of recently acquired platforms into the Nigerian Navy fleet. We are delighted to have Mr. President in our midst at this auspicious occasion. Thank you, sir. We also appreciate all heads of navies and coast guards and heads of delegation from our foreign partners, as well as very eminent in-country dignitaries for honoring our invitation. Today's event marks a major milestone in the history of our dear country and the Nigerian Navy. In recent memory, similar events were conducted in 2006 and 2010, respectively. This review is, however, unique, as it is organized in honor of Mr. President, who has provided unprecedented support to the Nigerian Navy in terms of fleet recapitalization, infrastructural development, and personnel welfare, thereby boosting morale and fighting efficiency. The review is also designed to mark the culmination of Mr. President's 8-year tenure in office. Another peculiar feature of this review is the commissioning of a landing ship transport, an inshore patrol crafts, and one Augusta Westland brand new light utility helicopter, all of which form part of ships to be reviewed along Lagos Channel. Also included in this formation are the Ghanaian Navy ship GNS Blicker and Italian Navy ship Ne Brosini. After the review by Mr. President, there will be a combat display by a squadron of Nigerian Navy ships, boats and elements of the Special Boat Service, as well as display by air assets of both the Nigerian Navy and the Nigerian Air Force. This will, hence the theme of this fleet review, Fleet Readiness for National Prosperity. In this regard, Permit me to give a brief highlight of the platforms to be commissioned today. NNS Kada, a landing ship transport, was built by Mrs. Damen at the Sharjah Port, United Arab Emirates. She arrived Nigeria on 22nd May 2022 and will serve as a force multiplier towards projecting naval power as well as support non-kinetic operations. NNS Ibino is a fast patrol craft donated by the People's Republic of China. The ship will be deployed for surveillance and patrol duties within our waters and the region. The Nigerian Navy helicopter, Nigerian Navy 410, first of 3 to be delivered, which arrived in January this year, will increase reaction time of the fleet to incidences at sea and aid conduct of search and rescue operations, amongst others. Induction of these platforms into the Nigerian Navy fleet will lead to further decline in maritime crimes, thereby boosting socio-economic activities within the Nigerian maritime environment. Finally, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the administration draws the curtain on 29th May 2023, let me again sincerely thank our amiable President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for his unwavering support and tremendous support towards maintaining a well-equipped Navy that Nigerians can be proud of. Sir, we wish you good health and success in your future endeavors. May I also use this opportunity to acknowledge support of our friendly navies for the synergy and cooperation in tackling maritime security challenges in the Gulf of Guinea in line with the Yaoundé Accord. Your presence in our midst today is a testament of this cooperation. Our profound gratitude also goes to everyone that have contributed one way or the other to make this event a reality. I sincerely appreciate your efforts and contributions, and may the Almighty God bless and reward you accordingly. Finally, to all our invited guests, we are mindful of the sacrifices you have made to grace this occasion. We are very, very grateful. Thank you. God bless us all. And as we say in the Nigerian Navy, onwards together. Thank you.
That was the welcome address succinctly and eloquently delivered by our phenomenal Chief of Naval Staff. His visionary leadership has taken the Nigerian Navy to the enviable height that today it is being celebrated. I think he deserves the respect and admiration of all. Let's give him a resounding round of applause. Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to bring to your knowledge that on the first day of June 2023, the Nigerian Navy will be celebrating 67 years of defendable service in the defense of Nigeria's territorial integrity by sea. I thought the Nigerian Navy deserves a resounding round of applause for this. As we therefore honor our dear President and Commander-in-Chief with this presidential review, it is instructive that we give you a glimpse into how far the Nigerian Navy fleet has come in this carefully put together documentary. Technical, the documentary, please.
The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. I am Rear Admiral A.O. Olojude, the Fleet Commander, Western Fleet. On behalf of the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, and the Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral JDK Akman. I welcome you to the Presidential Fleet Review 2023. In recent years, the fleet has witnessed increased recapitalization in the Nigerian Navy. Yet again, today, we are witnessing the commissioning of 3 platforms. The first is the landing ship tank, Nigerian Naval ship Kada, as well as a fast patrol boat, Nigerian Naval ship A29, and the Augusta Westland light utility helicopter, Nigerian Navy 410. Furthermore, 11 ships will be reviewed within the Lagos Channel. We are glad to host the Presidential Fleet Review 2000. We are glad to host the Presidential Fleet Review 2023. And as we say in the Nigerian Navy, onward together and welcome on board, Mr. President.
Good morning, Your Excellency, Mr. President. I am Captain R.O. Adoki, the commanding officer of the Nigerian Navy ship Kada. It is my singular honor and privilege to welcome you and to present NNS Kada for your commissioning and for participation in your esteemed Presidential Fleet Review. NNS Kada is a sophisticated and modern landing ship transport vessel built by Diamond Naval Shipbuilding. The vessel is reckoned as the first of a kind in Africa and one of the largest in the current Nigerian Navy inventory. Their major roles include that of sea lift of military troops and equipment, as well as amphibious operations. Our secondary roles include maritime security operations, disaster response and non-combat evacuation operations, general logistics and transportation, amongst others. Your Excellency, on this auspicious occasion of the ship's commissioning, we, the entire ship's company of NNS Kada, are deeply elated and highly appreciative to you for bringing the vision of the Nigerian Navy to acquire a landing ship transport vessel in our inventory into reality. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Good morning, Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am Captain I.C. Mabioku, the commanding officer, Nigerian Navy ship Ibeno. It is my singular privilege and honor to welcome you, Mr. President, within the coastal waters, while in the same vein enforcing the implementation of Nigeria's maritime safety regulations. Mr. President, on this auspicious occasion of the Presidential Fleet Review, I and my entire ship company are beaming with joy and appreciative to you, Mr. President, for bringing the Nigerian Navy's vision of acquisition of more platforms into reality. Thank you, Mr. President.
His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. I am Commodore S.O. Ega, Commander, Naval Air Base Ojo. It is my singular honor and privilege to welcome Mr. President and all the guests to the Presidential Fleet Review 2023 and commissioning of the MN-410 helicopter. MN-410 is an Augusta Westland 109er grand new light utility helicopter manufactured by Leonardo Helicopters in Italy. The helicopter can support Nigerian Navy air operations in areas such as over-the-horizon targeting, close air support of Special Operations Forces, casualty and medical evacuation, as well as maritime patrol, amongst others. On behalf of officers, men, and civilian staff of Naval Air Base Ojo, I thank His Excellency for supporting the Nigerian Navy Air Fleet with this additional asset.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we shall soon be witnessing a special part of this ceremony, which is the ringing of the bell for the year 2023 Presidential Fleet Review. Before this, may I humbly intimate our special guest that there are 2 ships designated to convey selected dignitaries for the fleet review proper. They are Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto and Aba. Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto is reserved for the reviewing officer, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, the Honorable Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of the Naval Staff, the State's Chief of Protocol, and the Chief Detail to the President. Conversely, Nigerian Navy ship Aba will convey the service chiefs and the representative of the Inspector General of Police, as well as the Doyen Ambassador, the Doyen Defense Attaché, and the African Union Ambassador to Nigeria.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to give you a brief background to the significance of the ship's bell in the Navy. For centuries, ship bells have been a part of the traditions of navies and merchant fleets for both functional and ceremonial uses. One of the earliest recorded mentions of the ship's bell was on the British ship Grace Dior in about 1485. The name of the ship and the year of commission are inscribed on the bell. The ship's bell is used for signaling, keeping time, and sounding alarms. Bells are an important part of a ship's routine and readiness. Like other navies around the globe, the Nigerian Navy uses bells to indicate time and perform various naval ceremonies, such as a Presidential Fleet Review. Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, in a moment, the reviewing officer, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, shall ring the bell 8 times to symbolize the official flag-off of the year 2023 Fleet Review. As the President rings the bell, the personnel stationed behind each flagpole will reciprocate the ringing to signify unison, collaboration, and collective resolve that is needed to safeguard the global commons for our collective prosperity. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, may I most respectfully request the Chief of the Naval Staff to kindly usher the reviewing officer to the bell stand. The Chief of the Naval Staff, sir.
L'officier de la revue, son Excellence, le président Muhammadu Buhari, fera sonner la cloche 8 fois pour symboliser le commencement de la revue de la flotte de l'année 2023. Sans plus attendre, je demande respectueusement au chef d'état-major de la marine nigérienne de bien vouloir conduire l'officier de la revue à la tribune de la cloche.
Shall we please give the reviewing officer a resounding round of applause? distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, the reviewing officer has rung the bell, which symbolizes the formal commencement of activities lined up for the fleet review. The next activity is the commissioning of 2 ships and a helicopter, as well as the review of the international fleet of ships before us. Accordingly, may I humbly request the Chief of Policy and Plans, Rear Admiral S.S. Garba, Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic, to kindly usher in the selected dignitaries that will be going on board Nigerian Navy ship Aba. These are the service chiefs and the representative of the Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, as well as the Doyen Ambassador, the Doyen Defense Attaché, and the African Union Ambassador to Nigeria. As for the President's ship, which is Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto, this is reserved for the reviewing officer, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, the Honorable Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, the State's Chief of Protocol, and the Chief Detail to the President. Thank you, sir. While our distinguished dignitaries are making their way on board the ships, may I please call on the Nigerian Navy Band to give us light musical interlude. The Nigerian Navy Band, please.
While we await the Nigerian Navy Band, Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, for the benefit of our non-naval guests, it is useful to explain the laid-down procedure for the embarkation and disembarkation of ships in the Navy. Navies are compelled to comply with these laid-down courtesies, customs, and practices. In a typical naval vessel, when going on board, all subordinates or junior officers are to embark first and stand at the aft of the vessel. Then the most senior naval officer will embark while the gangway party pipe to welcome him aboard the ship. However, during disembarkation, this is done in reverse order, as the most senior naval officer leaves the ship before all others.
Son Excellence, Mesdames et Messieurs, à l'intention de nos invités non-marins, il est utile d'expliquer la procédure établie pour l'embarquement et le débarquement des navires. Les forces navales sont tenues de respecter ces règles de courtoisie, ses coutumes et ses pratiques. Dans un navire de guerre typique, lors de l'embarquement, tous les officiers subordonnés ou subalternes embarquent en premier et se tiennent à l'arrière du navire. Ensuite, l'officier le plus gradé embarque tandis que l'équipe de la passerelle l'accueille à bord du navire. Toutefois, lors du débarquement, l'ordre est inversé. L'officier le plus gradé quittant le navire avant tous les autres.
Thank you. Very distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. While the reviewing officer and the chief of the naval staff make their way on board Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto, may I acquaint you with some details about the ship. Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto is a fast patrol craft of 35 meters length, capable of attaining a maximum speed of 32 knots. The ship was built by Oshia Company in France and was commissioned in the same venue by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari on 9 December 2021. Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto plays a vital role in the safeguarding of our waterways against piracy, crude oil theft, illegal oil bunkering, drug trafficking, and other crimes within Nigeria's maritime domain. The commanding officer of the ship is Commander B.M. Adebayo. Very distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, in the course of the review, Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto will convey the reviewing officers southward in the direction of the Lagos Channel, placing the fleet on her starboard side. For the benefit of our non-naval guests, kindly note that the starboard side in the Navy stands for the right-hand side. Conversely, the left-hand side is called the port side in the Navy. In the process, the reviewing officer will commission Nigerian Navy ship Kada and Nigerian Navy ship Ibeno before altering course to a northerly direction, from where he will sail past the ships at anchor and receive the special mark of respect known as the man-at-chair ship. The man-at-chair ship will be performed by each member of the ship's company, removing their headgears and giving 3 hearty chairs to the reviewing officer, His Excellency, the President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic.
Le navire de la marine nigérienne Sokoto est un patrouille rapide de 35 mètres de long, capable d'atteindre une vitesse maximale de 32 knots. Le navire a été construit par la société OCA en France et a été mis en service par son Excellence le Président Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commandeur de l'Ordre de la République fédérale, le 9 décembre 2021, dans ce même lieu. Le navire joue un rôle essentiel dans la protection de nos voies navigables contre la piraterie, le vol de pétrole brut, le sauvetage illégal de pétrole, le trafic de drogue et d'autres crimes au domaine maritime du Nigeria. Le navire est commandé par le capitaine de frégate Exo Adebayo. Au cours de la revue, le navire de la marine nigérienne Sokoto transportera l'officier chargé de la revue vers le nord en direction de la lagune de Lagos, en plaçant la flotte du côté Babo. Le côté Babo est un terme naval désigné le côté gauche. Il convient de noter que le terme tribal désigne le côté droit. Lorsqu'il atteindra le dernier navire à l'ancre, le navire de la marine nigérienne Sokoto changera de cap vers le sud pour retourner dans la direction du premier navire. Lors du passage de l'officier chargé de la revue, l'équipage de chaque navire lui remettra une remarque spéciale appelée man-at-chair ship. Le man-at-chair ship est exécuté par chaque membre de l'équipage du navire qui enlève sa coiffe et lance 3 acclamations en honneur de l'officier de la revue, son Excellence le Président Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commandeur de l'Ordre de la République fédérale.
Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the reviewing officer sails to commission the 2 ships and a helicopter, permit me to highlight the ceremony of commissioning ships in the Navy. During a commissioning ceremony, a parade is usually formed with the ship's company facing away from the ship. For this, for those who may not be conversant with the terminology ship's company, it is simply a naval term for officers and ratings serving on board a ship. The focal point for this ceremony is the turning about of the ship's company to face the new ship for the symbolic hoisting of colors. This prevents the special guest of honor, chaplaincy, commanding officer, and other guests from having to turn about for that part of the ceremony. Thereafter, the special guest of honor would graciously hand over a commissioning warrant to the commanding officer who is to read same after receiving it. On completion, the Nigerian Navy Band will play the national anthem while the national flag and ensign are hosted at their respective staff and the commissioning pennant is broken at the topmast. For today's ceremony, 2 specially selected commodores have been given the responsibility of presenting the commissioning warrant to the commanding officers on behalf of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as he would be sailing on board Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto to review the international fleet of ships along the Lagos Channel. Accordingly, Commodores I. Mohammed and J.A. Adewonyi have been tasked to undertake these huge tasks. The very senior officers have taken their post on board NNS Kada and Ibeno, respectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. As you can see, the President's ship has just cast off to where he will commission Nigerian Navy ship Kada and Nigerian Navy ship Ibeno. And also to most importantly review the fleet. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, you can see on screen the reviewing officer's ship moving towards Nigerian Navy ship Kada and Nigerian Navy ship Ibeno, where he will commission and subsequently review the fleet. As I call on the DJ to give us a soft tune while we watch. Thank you very much.
Something where there's no music, just tell the people to listen so that people can hear. So we can hear. Okay. The ship will slow down when they get to Kada, and then the president will make a declaration. Yeah. There's a loudspeaker, so people should be able to hear. You also get to Ibeno too. Yes.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see now, the reviewing officer on board Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto is proceeding towards the port side of Nigerian Navy ship Kada to commence the commissioning ceremony of the ship. As the President's ship closes up to Nigerian Navy ship Kada, we are kindly requested to listen in to the commentary of the activities that are taking place on board the ship. Thank you, Your Excellencies. While this is happening, may I draw your attention to the Nigerian Navy Augusta Westland A109E helicopter that is flying past. Thank you.
close your eyes and come and see.
Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we can see Nigerian Navy ship are being to port of Nigerian Navy ship Kada. His Excellency, the President, has endorsed the commissioning of the Nigerian Navy ship Kada, which was performed by Commodore I. Mohammed. Please, let's give him a round of applause. His Excellency's ship is steadily advancing towards Nigerian Navy ship Ibeno to conduct the commissioning ceremony for the ship.
When he has finished declaring, they will play national anthem. When he has finished committing the ship, that ship plays national anthem. So it's after that national anthem you will see those players. So just watch. That's why you have not done.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, as the reviewing officer proceeds towards Nigerian Navy ship Ibeno and conducts the commissioning ceremony, there will be a display and performance of the national anthem by the Nigerian Navy Band. As we can see at this moment, the flares of various colors have been launched. This indicates that Nigerian Navy ship Kada has successfully been commissioned. Let's give them another round of applause, please. This same set of activities are going to be replicated on board Nigerian Navy ship Ibeno.
You mention anything about the head? Just remind them about what Kada is helicopter and then also has legally been commissioned.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is to draw your attention to the fact that the helicopter on board Nigerian Navy ship Kada has equally been commissioned today by His Excellency, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Shall we please once again give him a round of applause? Thank you.
Hello, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2.
Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see ahead of us towards the left, the President's ship is now abeam to Nigerian Navy ship Ibeno to conduct the commissioning ceremony as was performed on board Nigerian Navy ship Kada.
Mesdames et Messieurs, les députés de marque, le navire de la marine Nigeria Kada vient d'être mis en commission et maintenant le navire ou le bateau est en train d'avancer vers le navire de la marine Nigeria Sokoto pour être mis en service aussi.
Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, the President's ship is now on its way back for the man and chair ship. For the benefit of our non-naval and civilian guests, it is expedient that we give a brief overview of what the naval tradition man and chair ship entails. This custom is basically a form of salute that dates back to the 16th century. Man and chair ship ceremonies are thought to have emerged from the historical concept where all hands on sailing warship will be seen to line the yards and masts to show that the ship had no battle plans and their intentions were friendly, basically saying, "We come in peace."
Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this very moment, the reviewing officer is passing abeam to port of Nigerian Navy ship Kada, which was only a few moments ago commissioned. And the reviewing officer is receiving one of the highest marks of respect, which is the man and chair ship. The reviewing officer's ship is proceeding towards the Italian Navy ship Naval Borsini and Ghana Navy ship Blika. Equally, these two foreign Navy ships will bestow the honor of man and chairship onto the reviewing officer, His Excellency, Mr. President.
Les invités de marque, mesdames et messieurs, il est important de donner un bref aperçu de ce que la tradition navale man and chairship implique. Cette coutume est en fait une forme de salut qui remonte aux années.
channel are Nigerian Navy ships Oji, Andoni, Ekulu, Shiroro, and Gongola. The remaining are Nigerian Navy ships Oshun, Aba, and Sokoto, as well as Deep Blue Lagos, which is a Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency naval assets. Thank you, Your Excellencies.
Thank you very much, sir, Captain Bassey. Next is Nigerian Navy ship Ibeno, which has just been commissioned. She is a seaward defense boat with visual call sign 5MBD. She is commanded by Captain I.C. Mabioku. Next on the line is Nigerian Navy ship Kada. Is also yet to be commissioned. She is a landing ship tank and replaced the decommissioned landing ship tank Nigerian Navy ship Ambe and Nigerian Navy ship Ophium. Her visual call sign is LST 1314. She is commanded by Captain R.O. Adoki. Next is Nigerian Navy ship Kano with visual call sign Papa 270. It's a fast cruise supply boat with an overall length of 40 meters. She is commanded by Commander A.I. Yalo.
Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, the reviewing officer has passed Nigerian Navy ship Centenary, which is commanded by Captain E.R. Ekuma. The ship is an offshore patrol vessel with visual call sign F91. Following Nigerian Navy ship Centenary is Nigerian Navy ship Thunder, which has a visual call sign of F90. She is also an offshore patrol vessel commanded by Captain M.I. Raji. Closely astern of Nigerian Navy ship Thunder is Nigerian Navy ship Unguru, a fast patrol craft with visual call sign P189, and was commissioned by no other person than the reviewing officer, His Excellency, Mr. President. In May 2020, the ship successfully rescued a Chinese fishing vessel, Hailufang 2, which was attacked by pirates in the Gulf of Guinea. She is currently commanded by Commander Y.J. Sado.
Closely following Nigerian Navy ship Unguru is Nigerian Navy ship Ikene with visual call sign P270. It is a fast cruise supply boat with an overall length of 40 meters. The commanding officer of the ship is Commander C.P. Meze. Next is Nigerian Navy ship Ose with visual call sign P186, which is a fast patrol boat with a length of 24 meters. Kindly note that on 20 April 2020, Nigerian Navy ship Ose rescued mariners aboard a container ship Tomerisha after it was boarded by pirates. The officer in charge of the boat is Lieutenant E.N. Isiogu. And lastly, we have Nigerian Navy ship Lano, which is an auxiliary class hydrographic survey vessel of the Nigerian Navy with visual call sign A499. Nigerian Navy ship Lano was commissioned on 9 December 2021 by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic. She is currently involved in the survey of approaches to Lagos waters. The ship is commanded by Captain A.G. Abdullahi. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I humbly request that we all give a round of applause to all the participating ships. Thank you all very much.
Le navire de la marine nigérienne Ibeno. Le NNS Ibeno vient d'être mis en service. Il s'agit d'un navire de défense au large dont l'indicatif d'appel visuel est 59BD. Il est commandé par capitaine de vaisseau I.C. Mabioku. Le navire de la marine nigérienne Kada n'a pas encore été mis en service. Il s'agit d'un char de débarquement et remplace les navires de débarquement de la marine nigériane Ambe et Efium qui ont été déclassés. Son indicatif visuel est LST 1314. Il est commandé par capitaine de vaisseau R.O. Adoki. Le navire de la marine nigérienne Kano, dont l'indicatif appel visuel est P270, est un navire de ravitaillement en équipage rapide d'une longueur totale de 40 mètres. Il est commandé par capitaine de frégate Aïyalo.
Le navire de la marine nigérienne Centenary a une longueur de 95,5 mètres. Il s'agit d'un patrouilleur autouraire avec l'indicatif d'appel visuel 91. Il est commandé par capitaine de vaisseau E.R. Ekuma. Le navire de la marine nigérienne Tonda, donc l'indicatif d'appel visuel L 80. Il est un navire de patrouilleur escorte côtière.
Le navire de la marine OC, dont l'indicatif est P186, est un bateau de patrouille rapide d'une longueur de 24 mètres. Le 20 avril 2020, la NNS OC a secouru des marins à bord du porte-conteneur Tommy Richter après qu'il a été abordé par des pirates. L'officier responsable du bateau est lieutenant de vaisseau E.N. Isiogu. Le navire de la marine nigérienne Lana est un navire hydrographique auxiliaire de la marine nigérienne avec l'indicatif d'appel visuel A499. Le navire a également été mis en service le 9 décembre 2021 par son Excellence le président Muhammadu Buhari, grand commandeur de la République fédérale. Le navire de la marine nigérienne Lana participe actuellement à l'étude des approches
Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. A reviewing officer has excellently reviewed 11 Nigerian Navy ships and 2 ships of the Italian and Ghana navies. He has also formally commanded Navy ships Kada, helicopter into the Nigerian Navy fleet. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. They both is oh, it's late. Maybe their flare was not working.
The dignitaries on board Nigerian Navy ship Aba are required to disembark first. They will kindly form up at the jetty to receive His Excellency the President and Reviewing Officer as he disembarks Nigerian Navy ship Sokoto.
Selemana Bemunyenge, Naking Senyo, Bimba Mumia Jango, Nadisomele Boko, Lunga Lendi Munyenge, Wapome and the Yolanje, Mutaka Mutiti Polo, Mumende no Japan. Telemba
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we await the disembarkation of His Excellency, the reviewing officer, permit me to intimate you with the Nigerian Air Force and the Nigerian Navy Air Wing will be conducting the joint fly past. Thank you, Your Excellencies.
Come on board, divers. Quickly. Quickly.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the President and Commander-in-Chief has just disembarked the NNS Sokoto in company of other VVIPs. Shall we please once again give him a resounding round of applause? It is instructive to state here that the activities that we've just witnessed is one of Mr. President's several legacy projects. And I tell you, it will remain indelible in the history of this country. Please, once again, let's applaud our President most resoundingly. Thank you so, so much, sir.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is expedient to state here that His Excellency Mr. President has immensely boosted the capacity of the armed forces of Nigeria in the past 8 years with the acquisition of several military hardware. Amongst them are countless number of tanks for the Nigerian Army, 18 ships and helicopters for the Nigerian Navy, and 12 Super Tucano for the Nigerian Air Force, among many other aircraft. Suffice it to say that some of these assets will be on display today. What we are about to witness right now is the fly past, which will be done by the Nigerian Navy Air Wing and the Nigerian Air Force. To conduct these aspects is the Nigerian Air Force pilot, Wing Commander Ai Yahaya.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I most respectfully request that as we prepare ourselves to witness the fly past, please be intimidated that there will be a combat boat display simultaneously. And this display will be conducted by the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service. The Special Boat Service is composed of elite and gallant Nigerian Navy personnel who have distinguished themselves in several operations, both home and abroad. Some operations where the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service have distinguished themselves, particularly under the watch of the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, are Operations Hadarin Daji, Hadenkai, and Wild Stroke in the northwest, northeast, and north central parts of Nigeria, respectively. Additionally, the operatives of the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service are currently deployed in the ongoing economic community of West African states military intervention in the Gambia. Please, may we put our hands together for the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, I am Wing Commander Mansur Yusuf, call sign the aggressor. I am a fighter pilot and a proud product of the current Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Isiaka Oladayo Amao, distinguished flying star, who himself is a seasoned fighter and qualified weapons instructor. I will be anchoring the aerial display segment of this exercise. First and foremost, let me introduce the cloak code. From our sitting positions, straight across the channel is our 12 o'clock position, while to the right of our sitting position is the 3 o'clock position. That is where the aerial display assets will be coming from. And down the channel to our left is the 9 o'clock position. Let me also introduce the platforms taking part in this aerial display. The Nigerian Navy Air Arm, call sign Raven Formation, is a formation of 3 different Nigerian Navy helicopters that play various roles, including sea patrol, casualty and medical evacuation, and sea-to-shore transportation.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, looking to the left, you will see the Nigerian Navy boats approaching in arrowhead formation. The arrowhead formation is one of the tactical formations that gives boats the ability to maximize their firepower delivery during riverine operations. This is a representation of how a group of boats can be employed for greater operational effectiveness. The boats on display are rigid hull inflatable boats which are designed for speed and maneuverability. These boats are but a few of the many boats acquired by the Nigerian Navy under His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari. May we please appreciate His Excellency with a round of applause.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, shortly from the 3 o'clock position, the Raven formation will be coming overhead this display area. The formation is a combination of 3 different Nigerian Navy helicopters. In the lead is the Augusta 139 helicopter, flown by Commanders PC Honor and A. Aderinto. The number 2 is the Augusta 109E, crewed by Commanders A.E. Afi and Navy Lieutenant A.O. Awolesi. While the number 3 is the Augusta 109 SP helicopter, flown today by Commanders Y.A. Sheleng and Modu Ibrahim.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, the boats before you are employed in a wide spectrum of maritime operations, ranging from boarding operations at sea to tactical riverine operations, where their maneuverability is tested to the limits.
The Raven formation is trailed closely by the Skyhawk, and then it will be trailed closely by the Grey Raptor, which is the DA-62 patrol aircraft. Lastly will be the Phantom formation, which is a formation of 3 A29 Super Tucanos. Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, it's my pleasure and honor to announce that with the exception of the Mi-35P, all the platforms taking place in this aerial display were acquired and inducted into the service by the current administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm missing something. Shortly, the Grey Raptor, which is the DA-62 ISR aircraft, will be overhead the target area. It's flown today by Group Captain Dan Apeak and Flying Officer Okafo. The aircraft is based at 303 Maritime Air Group, Ilorin, and it's supporting all operations in various theaters, including the maritime environment.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, back to the boat display. Now the boats are breaking into single file formation, which is an effective formation for maneuvering in narrow riverine terrain. In so doing, they are demonstrating the versatility of their craft and how they can sometimes make sharp turns at full speed. This versatility is essential in outmaneuvering adversaries' watercraft and to ensure victory for Nigerian Navy troops. May we please give them a round of applause.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, shortly the Phantom Formation will be over the target area. The Phantom Formation is a flight of 3 A29 Super Tucanos. The A29 Super Tucano is a light attack aircraft manufactured by Sierra Nevada Corporation of the U.S. in partnership with Embraer Defense and Security Company of Brazil. The aircraft is a turboprop single engine designed in the two-seater version to perform training and operational missions.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, now the boats are forming line abreast formation to execute a heart-shaped maneuver. This maneuver symbolizes the love of the Nigerian Navy, the Commander-in-Chief, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Shall we please give them another round of applause?
And Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, the Grey Raptor just passed the target area. The Grey Raptor, you may recall, was inducted recently during the Nigerian Air Force anniversary about a couple of weeks ago in Enugu by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellencies, a round of applause for our esteemed and professional aviators. If we look shortly to our right, the 3 o'clock position is the Phantom Formation, a flight of 3 A29 Super Tucanos in VIC formation. The lead aircraft is flown by Flight Lieutenant Festus Oga, while the number 2 is flown by Squadron Leaders M.A. Gezo, and the number 3 aircraft is flown by Squadron Leaders S.A. Hastrop, and the commander of the fleet, Wing Commander J.A. Bago. The Phantom Formation are based in Kaenji 407 Air Combat Training Group, where our fighter pilots are trained. The formation is now performing the Lazy 8 maneuver. The Lazy 8 maneuver got its name from the track it describes on the ground, which is a figure 8 lying on its side. It is a maneuver to practice formation integrity and flight discipline, which is the hallmark of fighter pilots. Your Excellencies, a round of applause for the Phantom Formation. Shortly, the Phantom Formation will come again from the 3 o'clock position for the second leave of the Lazy 8 maneuver, and then make a 360 orbit in VIC to position for the bombers. The bombers maneuver marks the end of the aerial display, which is a salutation to the special guests of honor. This is the Phantom Formation on the second leave of the Lazy 8 maneuver.
Thank you. Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now witness the sail pass of Nigerian Navy ships and starting with Nigerian Navy ship Oji. Nigerian Navy ship Oji with visual call sign Papa 275 derive its name from the river Oji.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, the Phantom Formation is now positioning for the bombers maneuver. The bombers maneuver will be flown directly opposite the VIP stand. The lead aircraft is expected to overfly the VIP stand, while the number 2 and number 3 aircraft will break to the left and right respectively.
Nigerian Navy ship Oji is a 43-meter seaward defense boat, the third in the series of ships locally built by the Nigerian Navy in the Naval Dockyard Limited. The commanding officer of the ship is Commander S. Bala.
While we are standing by for the bombers, Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, please may we give a round of applause for these aviators. I would like to add that all the Nigerian Air Force air assets taking part in today's aerial display are capable of conducting tactical air support missions in support of maritime operations, which we refer to as TASMO.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen.
The bombers maneuver is what we are standing by for. You can see the 3 aircraft are squarely coming to the VIP stand. A round of applause for the Phantom Formation.
Sorry, sir. Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, sailing in front of us is Nigerian Navy ship Andoni. Her visual call sign is P100. She is another indigenous seaward defense boat built by the Nigerian Navy in the Naval Dockyard Limited, Lagos, the venue of the Presidential Fleet Review 2023. She was commissioned on the 1st of June 2012. Nigerian Navy ship Andoni patrols the coastal areas and has participated in numerous military exercises. She is commanded by Commander M. Kada. At this moment, Nigerian Navy ship Andoni is about to give 3 hearty cheers in honor of the reviewing officer.
Your Excellency, the ship you are witnessing right now is Nigerian Navy ship Ekulu, which is a fast patrol craft with visual call sign P187 and was built by Ocea France. The vessel has an overall length of 35 meters and was commissioned into the Nigerian Navy fleet in 2018. The ship is presently involved in Operation Dakata Dabarau. She is commanded by Commander A.A. Akinsomi.
Next on the line of ships is Nigerian Navy ship Shiroro with visual call sign P185. It's a fast patrol boat with a length of 24 meters. The vessel was built by Ocea France. She was delivered and commissioned in 2017 as part of the Eastern Fleet. Her primary roles are to protect critical oil installations in the Niger Delta, as well as to combat piracy, crude oil theft, and drug trafficking, amongst others. The officer in charge of the boat is Lieutenant Commander A.S. Dan.
Distinguished invited guests, the next ship we are going to see is Nigerian Navy ship Gongola. is next. She is a fast patrol boat. Her visual call sign is P189 with a length of 24 meters. The vessel was built by Oshia, France. She was delivered and commissioned in 2018 as part of the Eastern Fleet. Her primary roles are to protect critical oil installations in the Niger Delta, as well as combat piracy, crude oil theft, and drug trafficking, amongst others. In August 22, the vessel was instrumental in the arrest of motor tanker Heroic Idun, which was laden with stolen crude oil from the Apo oil terminal in Rivers State. The officer in charge of the boat is Lieutenant Commander E. Bernard.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, of you is Nigerian Navy ship Oshun. The ship is a fast patrol boat of 24 meters length. She was built by Osia and commissioned by no other person than His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari on the 9th of December 2021. Her visual call sign is P191. Nigerian Navy ship Oshun is primarily used to combat piracy, sea robbery, crude oil theft, drug trafficking, and illegal fishing, amongst other illegal maritime activities. The officer in charge of the boat is Lieutenant Commander O.R. Onyoku. Please may we give her a round of applause.
Okay, it's coming, sir. Sir, it's coming, sir. It has not passed. No, sir. It has passed him already.
Oh, yeah. Deep blue. Okay. Distinguished invited guests, last but not the least is the Deep Blue Lagos vessel. The vessel is among the maritime assets of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency's Deep Blue project, which were launched on 10 June 2021 by no other person than His Excellency, Mr. President. Collaborating closely, the first phase of this rescue mission is to be conducted by the two boats.
Passing or you're going to do display? Hold the mic, hold it interrupted, and use another hand to control the paper. You are doing like this. Your hand is going up and down. Okay, so don't say that. Correct. Yes, sir. Correct. Deep blue, yes, operationally under the chief of police, manned by Nigerian Navy personnel. So right now the impression we are giving is deep blue personnel, advanced personnel running. Is not coming. Let me write it. Let me just write it. Let me write it.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we shall soon be witnessing another demonstration of the combat capability of the Nigerian Navy. The demonstration shall be conducted by the Nigerian Navy Air Arm and the Special Boat Service using a hostage rescue scenario. This particular display is aimed at demonstrating the synergy and interoperability that exists between both units when executing visit, board, search, and seizure on a vessel. The scenario is based on a hostage situation on board a fictitious vessel named Merchant Vessel Prosperity, which was attacked by pirates while transiting the Gulf of Guinea. During this demonstration, the teams will execute 4 major tactical activities. These are boat insertion of troops, helocasting for search and rescue, insertion by fast roping for reinforcement, and rescue hoist for casualty evacuation.
Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, kindly note that the Deep Blue Task Group is currently operating under the Chief of the Naval Staff and is commanded by Commodore V.D. Choji. It is also manned by Nigerian Navy personnel. Thank you. Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, it is assumed that the pirates have attacked MV Prosperity and taken control of the vessel. Accordingly, the Nigerian Navy has intercepted the distress message from the vessel and deployed 2 combat rescue teams comprising 2 helicopters and 2 boats, each carrying operatives of the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service.
The first phase of this rescue mission is to be conducted by the two boats. One of the boats advances closely to the distressed vessel in order to insert the operatives. While this is going on, the second boat provides security cover to neutralize any threat from the vessel. This is the activity referred to as boat insertion. Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, the lighting of the first flare, which we can see ahead of us, indicates that the operatives have successfully cleared the superstructure of the ship, and it is now safe for the helicopter to insert other operatives for reinforcement. May we please give them a round of applause.
Unveiling. Don't make a commentary on what is happening. Let them continue that. Then go straight to the unveiling. Then let this just do that. Don't comment on it. For want of time.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the display continues, permit me to state that we have come to another interesting aspect of this special program. This is the official launching of the National Maritime Security Strategy 2023. For 2 years, 6 key ministries in collaboration with the Nigerian Navy worked tirelessly to put together this document. They are the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Transportation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ministry of Environment, and Ministry of Justice. Today, Mr. President has graciously approved the launching and implementation of the National Maritime Strategy 2023. This, I must confess, is one of Mr. President's numerous imprints and legacy projects. Mr. President deserves a most resounding round of applause for this. At this point, may I very respectfully invite the Honorable Ministers of Defense, representatives of the Minister of Transportation, Foreign Affairs, Agriculture and Rural Development, Environment and Justice to kindly take their position by the table in readiness for the unveiling and launching. Also, the DG Nimasa is kindly requested to join them and take his position too.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, while our distinguished representatives of these ministries take their posts for the unveiling, permit me to quickly remark that it is worthy to note that helicopters provide security cover with the use of snipers performing a role called Overwatch. And that is what we are seeing being displayed in front of us. This is to ensure no pirate is able to fire at the aircraft during the operation. Now the first helicopter is inserting operatives on board the vessel by means of fast roping technique. This technique is a method used by troops and special forces elements to descend with the aid of a thick rope from a helicopter onto places where the aircraft cannot touch down. Accordingly, the Special Boat Service operatives are demonstrating this capability for the purpose of reinforcement. Shall we please give them a resounding round of applause?
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor and privilege to request with great respect the Chief of the Naval Staff to invite and accompany Mr. President to officially unveil and launch the National Maritime Strategy 2023. The Chief of Naval Staff, sir.
Your Excellency, the reviewing officer, ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian Navy wishes to express appreciation by presenting a special souvenir to His Excellency, the reviewing officer. To make this presentation, I have the honor to respectfully invite the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, to do this presentation. The Chief of the Naval Staff, sir.
Let them go back. Let them go back quickly. See them coming in. Okay, FOC. Don't worry. No.
Your Excellency, very distinguished invited guests, we have come to the climax of this historic occasion. In a few moments from now, we shall be privileged to listen to the much anticipated remarks from our special guest of honor. Without further ado, therefore, may I humbly and most respectfully request that the Chief of the Naval Staff kindly do us the honor of inviting His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to deliver his keynote address. The Chief of the Naval Staff, sir.
Please sit down. The Executive Governor of Lagos State, representatives of the Senate President and Speaker, House of Representatives, and other members of the National Assembly, former Chief of General Staff, Commander Iditu Ikwe, Minister of Defense, Chief of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs, Inspector General of Police Rep, and heads of preliminary paramilitary agencies, heads of foreign navies, former CDS and Chief of Naval Staff, our Royal Fathers, members of the Diplomatic Corps, National President of Naval and Air Force Officers' Wives Association, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be in your midst today to review the different types and classes of ships, as well as helicopter, symbolizes the nation's maritime power and its preparedness to carry out the naval constitutional roles. Furthermore, the combat displays staged by elements of the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Service, and a mix of the air assets from the were quite impressive. I expect this to translate into actual capability to dominate Nigeria's maritime space environment and secure the vast resources therein for the socio-economic development of our great country. Distinguished invited guests, there is a strong link between maritime security and economic prosperity. This is considering that our maritime environment serves both as a storehouse of resources as well as medium for maritime transport. Thus, the safe and secure utilization of those resources for national prosperity maritime and economic prosperity. This is considering that our maritime environment serves both as a storehouse of resources as well as medium for maritime transport have been acquired for the Navy, about 20. These ships comprise offshore patrol vessels, land and ship transport, hydrographic survey vessels, seaworld defense boats, and helicopters, as well as over 300 inshore patrol vessels and assault craft during this fleet review. I had the honor to commission a new helicopter NN410 manufactured in Italy, NNS Kada, a land ship transport built in Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, and NNS Ibino, donated by the People's Republic of China. I deeply appreciate the donation and mutual military cooperation with our shipbuilding partner nations for their support, which has encouraged local shipbuilding by the Nigerian Navy. Distinguished guests, I am pleased to state that the Navy's efforts in indigenous shipbuilding in line with the nation's local content development plan is yielding positive results. Our naval engineers were wholly responsible for building 3 seaworld defense boats, namely NNS Andoni, NNS Karadua, NNS Oji. In December 2021, I performed keel laying foundation for the construction of 2 seaworld defense boats, which will be ready by 2024. At this rate, I have no doubt that our Navy will soon commence construction of larger ships for itself and other navies in the region and beyond. This achievement is a great pride to Nigeria and an impressive contribution to national development. This is why the theme of this 2023 Fleet Review, Fleet Readiness for National Prosperity, was carefully chosen to underscore response capability of the Navy to infringements in our maritime spaces and in the Gulf of Guinea towards attainment of national prosperity. I must say that the Navy has put these vessels into effective use, as evident in successes recorded in the fight against resource theft, counter-drug operations, and piracy. As you are aware, piracy reduced significantly over the past 7 years, which culminated in delisting Nigeria from the list of piracy-prone countries by the International Maritime Bureau in March 2022. Furthermore, application of technology to secure the maritime domain has supported intelligence-driven deployment of these ships. I will particularly commend the diligent arraignment and prosecution of anti-heroic Idun sequel to the detection and arrest for attempting to load crude oil offshore Bonny in August 2022 without authorization, to cite one example. This successful conviction further confirms the Navy's resolve to protect resources belonging to our country. Distinguished guests, the sea is a common factor that joins nations rather than separate them. I am aware that the Navy regularly collaborates with navies from partner nations to boost synergy in addressing illegalities within the Gulf of Guinea, especially during joint exercises such as Exercise Obangame Express, Exercise Grand Africa Nemo, and Exercise Flintlock, to mention a few. These exercises have enhanced the Navy's readiness to maritime security operations. I want to sincerely commend heads of navies and coast guards, as well as foreign allies, for this useful cooperation. I sincerely thank you for honoring me and my country. Let me now compliment the government and people of Lagos State and other maritime stakeholders for the critical support given to the country's Navy in conducting this fleet review. Pertinently, more than half of our maritime trade passes through ports located in Lagos, and as such, continues to be a lifeline for the nation's industry and economy. This strategic importance further underscores the necessity of cordial working relations. I wish to congratulate the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral A.Z. Gambo Siaba, and the entire Navy personnel for the splendid conduct of this historic event. As your outgoing President and Commander-in-Chief, this is a moment of immense joy and satisfaction for me. The nation is proud of your numerous achievements. Finally, I have no doubt that the incoming administration of President-elect, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will sustain the current tempo of our administration in giving Navy necessary support to effectively carry out its assigned tasks. My best wishes to our Navy for protecting our maritime domain and the economic prosperity of Nigeria. Thank you all, and God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency will be given the last mark of respect for this presidential fleet review, which is the national and 21 gun salutes. While the national anthem is being played, we are most humbly requested to rise. In addition, all commissioned officers and senior non-commissioned officers in uniform are kindly requested to salute. The parade commander, please. May we all rise.
The rains are here again. Seasonal climate forecasts have revealed the possibility of flooding in several communities of Nigeria. Clear away solid wastes that block drainages and waterways to mitigate the risk of flooding in your area. Evacuate from flood-prone areas to safe higher grounds and report any flood incidents to emergency responders near you. Listen to weather forecast and comply to safety instructions. Disaster management is everybody's business. This message is brought to you by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. NEMA, for the sake of the distressed.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen?
TVC News. First, with breaking news.
Coming up in the month of May, the first is International Workers' Day, the third is World Press Freedom Day, on the 5th is the 13th anniversary of President Yar'Adua's demise in 2010, while from 12th to 16th of May are days dedicated as United Nations Global Road Safety Week. The 16th of May is International Day of the Boy Child. World Hypertension Day is on the 17th, and on the 27th is Children's Day. 29th of May is Nigeria's Inauguration Day, the commencement of a new